DC animated movies can be pretty drastic in their amount of accuracy. What's up guys, Joe here, and today we're going to be comparing Batman the Long Halloween graphic novel to the animated film. Now let's shoot right into this, spoilers and all. Both the book and film take place mostly in Gotham. The comic art was great, no surprise there. I will say, the movie felt a bit nostalgic. There were a few shots that showed Gotham and it felt like it was ripped out of the animated series. The movie did great at keeping the tone, as well as the setting, thankfully. The story follows a year-long investigation with Bats, Jim, and Dent hunting down the murderer while also trying to take down Falcone. The movie follows the major plot points while changing a good amount of smaller stuff. So far, this isn't as bad as completely changing Hush. For example, the beginning removes the entire wedding scene that was in the book and jumps right into Johnny getting murdered. There are also scenes that were changed for the better, like the moment when they find Falcone's dirty money. In the comic, Dent is ready to just light it all up and burn it to the ground. However, in the movie, Dent is actually very hesitant to light it up. He even says,
"I'm supposed to work in the light."
Now, there are also scenes that are changed from the book that I personally don't like. Main example is the New Year's murder. Instead of having Batman take on the Joker while this guy gets capped, Bruce is at the party. This whole section, there are scenes in the film I like better, and some that I think hurt the film. I like Falcone's monologue, but I didn't like how he mentioned Maroni. I preferred his more intimate moment in the comic. The toast he gives to Bruce is great, and adds more hatred to Alberto. I don't like the second part of this scene, of Selina and Bruce talking about their relationship, or the really bad moment of Selina ruining Batman's secret identity completely.
Bruce!
Wait.
The Joker moment was cool, and as always, a blast when he comes on the screen. They removed the smaller part of him with the family and jumped right into him hiding in Dent's place. Joker getting the plane and doing that was pretty accurate. There was one scene that I was really excited to see, and they didn't add that, and that was the no capes moment. Big disappointment, DC. Joker gets caught again after starting the smoke, while the comic, he doesn't get that far. The movie ended at the New Year's, and actually a decent cutoff and lead up for part 2. The characters in the adaptation aren't bad. Most look very close to their comic counterparts, except Catwoman. They changed her appearance completely. To be honest, I was really hoping for her costume from the comic, but that's a minor nitpick. I do like the appearances in the movie more than the comic for the most part, actually. The character arcs overall are the same, but how they get there is different. Once again, some good and some bad. Main example is Dent. We all know Dent will become Two-Face and seems spin out to become a villain. You see his marriage more in the movie, and they also put more of a strain on it here, while in the comic it did have a bit, but they weren't as broken immediately. It is something that will probably be mentioned more in part 2.
Can we please talk about this in private?
Jesus, why can't you be more like...
More like who?
I already mentioned how I liked the warehouse scene where he burns the money, and that was because it added more to his character. In the comic, I really liked the coin more there. He gets it from his crazy father. This was actually something I wish we saw more in either the book or the movie. In the movie, Batman basically tricks him into burning the money by using the coin. Let's move on to the Bat. The movie did one thing drastically better, and that is showing that this Batman isn't one we usually see. This one is a young, inexperienced Batman. We see him having trouble keeping up with Catwoman. He does get hit a few more times, and even Gordon says,
"You may be aces in a fist fight, but you've got a lot to learn about detective work."
And we see those things come back to haunt him. In the comic, we get some hints, but not much confirmed, like here in the film. The film is kind of turning Batman into how he is in most media. We see him slowly callousing while also having remorse for his mistakes. Jim Gordon is pretty accurate here. A few changes are the kids, and that's really it. Older and more than one, but makes sense for the people who have been fans of the comics for a while. I always enjoyed seeing Gordon struggle with his family, and we really get that here. He clearly loves his family, but his obligation to the city often goes above them. They all just want Falcone and the mob gone at this point. Speaking of Falcone, let's move on to that family. The Roman, I feel, is a bit more intimidating here, as well as more of a godfather. We see his lack of affection for Alberto drastically more here.
I can forgive sloppy. What I will not tolerate is you presuming to speak on behalf of this family.
Alberto is also a bit different here. They have him constantly doing puzzles, and I like that the options of everyone who the killer is drawn out a bit more in here. The film and the comic are both pretty awesome. The comic is a bit slower, while the film adds a bit more action, of course. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the adaptation, and which DC animated movie is your favorite. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. and hit the bell so you don't miss out when we cover part 2. Thanks for watching, now stay nerdy and keep binging.
Yes, putting on costumes and striking fear. Quite absurd.
Do you really think? I hate when he does that.